So I promised you a life hack that's going to make your life a lot more simple. So here's what it is. Stop giving people explanations for your answers, especially if it deals with your time, your opinions, whatever. Most of the time that we're asked to do something, a simple yes or no will suffice. But we don't do that. We explain. I think women do this more than men. Maybe not. If you're a dude, let me know whether you think this is an issue for guys too. But most of the time, we could just say no thank you to something or sorry, I can't. But we explain, and it's a trap. It's totally a trap. If you start explaining your reasoning behind your answer, it sets up for debate about your answer. It sets up for unsolicited advice about what it is that you're doing. So here's what I mean. Let's go through a couple of examples so that this makes sense. So you're on a ketogenic diet, let's say, or you're on a low-fat diet, or you're on whatever diet you're on, and somebody brings in cupcakes to work. And hey girl, you want a cupcake? What would most of the time we say? Something like, oh, I would love to, but I can't. Well, first of all, you can. That's a whole nother blog, or that's a whole nother life. But all you really got to say is, oh, no, thanks, right? Because when you say, no, I can't, I'm on a diet, you either hear, one cupcake's not going to hurt, or you hear, girl, you don't need to diet, you look good, or you hear, oh, you're doing that diet? You shouldn't do that diet. My sister did that diet and she ended up in the hospital and blah, blah, blah. Like, you hear all this crap that you don't need to hear, and it's none of their business why you don't want to eat a stupid cupcake, right? You can just say no to the stupid cupcake and your life is way easier. So practice that, ladies. Just saying, no, thank you. Another example, somebody asks you to work a shift for them. Now, I'm all about helping people out when you can. What I'm not all about is feeling like you have to do something for somebody, or like you owe them an explanation why you're not going to give them your time. Girl, you don't owe anybody an explanation for what you do with your own calendar. The fact that somebody else didn't plan their calendar appropriately doesn't mean that it's emergent that you jump in and save the day. So do it if you want, do it if you can, but if you can't, you don't have to tell them why. You just say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. The end. Because you don't need some magical reason. And if you know you're not going to do it, what I see some people do, because they really hate to tell people no so much, is that instead of even saying no, they know in their mind they're not going to do the thing. And they're like, well, okay, let me take a look. And then they hope they can just keep avoiding that person forever instead of just saying no, because they don't like to say no. And I get it. It's because you're sweet and you're kind-hearted and you're not built the same way as me, because I don't mind telling people no. I say no all the time. My initials are N-O. I married my husband so that I could have the initials N-O. That's why I married Josh O'Day. So I could be Nikki O'Day and have my name be N-O for my initials. But if you don't like telling people no, I get it. However, get in the practice of just saying, no, sorry, I can't. It's very freeing. Now you don't have to run around avoiding this person, and you don't have to get into a debate about whether the thing that's on your calendar is more important than the thing that's on the other person's calendar. It's their calendar, it's their problem, it's not yours. One that somebody was talking to me about today, the COVID vaccine. I am not telling you whether you should get the vaccine or not. We're not going there. You do you. Don't even comment about it on this video. I don't care. I don't want to know. However, if you are choosing to get it, you don't owe anybody an explanation. And if you're choosing not to get it, you don't owe anybody an explanation, except for if you want to have a conversation with your doctor or a trusted medical professional, you go right ahead. But if you're not trying to have that debate and somebody's asking you about it, then you just say, no, you know what? I considered the risks and the benefits. And you know what? I prayed on it. And at this time, this is the decision that I reached. Don't say why. Don't say, I think you're a terrible person if you don't get this vaccine. Blah, 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 blah. Don't virtue signal. about it. Don't say, I think you're stupid if you get it. There's not enough data. It was rushed. Don't say anything. You don't have to give anybody what your reason was. It's just, yeah, I considered it. I reached a decision. End of story. If people want my opinion about something and I don't feel like giving it, which is very rare. Let's be serious. You guys know I love to give my opinion. I love to debate. The saltiest of topics is not usually off limits with me, but sometimes I'm just tired, or I know somebody is not good at looking at two sides of a coin, and there's somebody I just don't want to get into a discussion with because it won't be productive. If they ask me my opinion about something, I go, no. Like they might say, hey girl, what do you think about this and such policy? If there's somebody I don't want to talk to about politics, I'll just go, nope. Now that doesn't even make sense. And I like to make things awkward. So I just go, nope. And then when they're like, what do you mean nope? I'm like, nope, ain't doing this with you right now. Love you. Still want to love you in 5 minutes. So I'm not going to do this with you right now. That may be a little bit too aggressive for some of you, but what's your one-liner going to be when you don't want to get into a conversation with this person again? Have a couple things in your mind ready to roll. Super simple things. No, thank you. Sorry, I can't. Considered it, but it's not really for me right now. Table it. Or if somebody wants to give you your opinion and you don't want to give it, don't feel bad that you don't want to have a conversation with somebody. Because typically, if somebody's asking you something that you don't feel comfortable answering, they're already being bold and asking it, right? So you can be bold back and not answer, right? So if somebody asks you, oh, well, how much money did you make last year? Well, if you're an open book kind of person, maybe you want to answer. That's cool. But if you don't want to answer, then you just don't have to tell them. Like, you don't have to tell people things. And if they're already being bold with you, feel free to be bold back. Bold isn't rude. There's a difference. Just being mean and not wanting to ever be helpful to somebody, that's one thing. Telling somebody, no, you can't fit something into your schedule that they want you to do, that's not bold. That's not rude. Just practice saying no a little bit more often. What do you guys think? Is this easy for you? Is this something that you struggle with? Is it something you've never really thought about? But now you're like, yeah, if I stopped explaining my reasons for things, it would save me a lot of awkward conversations. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are. Just wanted to rant about that because I see different things keep popping up. And you can avoid a lot of stress if you just stop telling people your rationale behind doing what you're doing, because you don't have to explain your actions to anybody.